Okay, so tonight I'm going to speak about what I've done on my canvas. I was saying in previous videos that I started a painting named Tomorrow Started, which is a song by Tok Tok written by Hollis. I've been explaining so far what I plan to do on my painting and how I prepared my canvas, stretching, gesso, etc. And now, as you can see, I started the charcoal. So the charcoal is basically the drawing of what I'm going to put on my painting. The charcoal must be precise but can't be too precise because it's thick and the tiniest details you can do it with the charcoal, but it gives you at least an idea of what you are going to put, the motifs, the themes, everything, and also the values like shadows and lights. Everything which is dark, of course, will be darker. Anyway, I didn't do all the shadows because a lot of backgrounds are going to be very dark on this painting because it's a dark theme and painting and everything is dark on it. But for the details I put the shadows because it helps me. Then I'm going to make kind of I'm going to redo the motifs with some oil paint mixed with some mineral spirit, or turpentine. It's to make it very runny, but it's to make the charcoal stay on the canvas and to have the definition of the drawings. I hope that I explain well. Anyway, I will show you little by little what I'm doing and you will understand. Later on my video I'm going to show you what I did here. So I made copies like that of the images that I wanted to include on my painting, because when you watch them on the computer it's not good because sometimes according to your screen you have different colors and it's very hot right now here. I didn't imagine myself drawing and watching my computer, which is so hot because of the weather. So I thought, okay, I'm going to print that just to have the model under my eyes while I'm drawing. Of course, first I will talk about Hollis. I took several photos of him because I didn't know which one to choose. I wanted him to be of his age now, but I also wanted him to be dancing and not to be too smiling because it's not a funny painting. And I have actually a lot of photos of him where he's smiling. So far I didn't make the detail of the face, I just made a draft like that. But I will probably choose this one. Oh, surprise, it's an image of such a shame. But I will try to make him a little older than he is here. It's a painting, it can be like a dream, so I can do whatever I want after all. I really like this image. I don't know if you can see, but he's smiling a lot. I took a picture of this place, which is close to me, which is in my neighborhood. I didn't know what it was originally, but when I went to make the copies, the guy of the copies told me, oh, it used to be a liquor store, and it's maybe going to become a bakery, maybe even a French bakery. That's interesting. So why I chose this place as a decor at the top, I explained that already in another video, but the red of the place makes me think of Tomorrow Started. I don't know why, for me this song is red. I see the color red. It makes me think of a place which would be in between, you know. We don't know what it was, we don't know what it's going to become. It's something finishing and something else starting, obviously. So that's probably why I chose this place, plus the red. It has something very decadent too, and the ground completely broken. They were probably working on pipes underneath. But it looks like if it's hell underneath. That's probably why I chose this place. I really like the panels here. I'm not sure I'm going to use them on my painting, but maybe. Then I used a red curtain, velvet curtain, typically of a theater. So why? Why a red curtain of a theater? Because tomorrow started for me is red. Tomorrow started for me is reminding me the period 1985, 1986, 1985 mostly, when I was going to the Palace, which is a nightclub in Paris. It closed, but it reopened lately. I used to go there, and this place had something very decadent. I was going there to have fun with my friends, of course, but there was something very, very of a theater, and for a good reason. The Palace used to be a theater before being a nightclub, so there was a stage, there was a lot of red velvet. So that's probably why I'm seeing some theater, curtain, red velvet on this song and on my painting. Even the music, the song itself has something very dramatic, very spectacular, like a show on a stage, something very like living in another world. And tomorrow started are of the same kind of family of songs for me, according to me, and they convey the same feeling of theater, spectacular, dramatic, sad, something ending, something else starting. The bird, I didn't put it yet on the painting, but I really think I'm going to use it. I don't know why I see a bird there. The three Maggie at the top. Three Maggie, why? When the music is doing dun, 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 I really, really, really see I don't know, the desert, Israel, something religious, the three Maggie, the star. Don't ask me why that's what I see. So the dancers, I used this. I looked a little at that, but it's not exactly the same position as this. But I want to do something a little blurry like that. I don't want it to be too precise, because we must remember that what I'm representing here is not the reality, it's my imagination on a song. So it must have a feeling like a dream or something, you know. So I like the kind of not precise aspect of this painting. I like this photo a lot, actually. I like a lot the shadows and lights on the face of the guy at the back I think I'm going to try to use the same effect on my painting when I will be doing the paint part. Right now I'm not there yet. So the stairs, actually mostly used these ones. I like the fact that they are separated in two like that, because it's like if we are at a crossroad and we must decide where we go. Right, left, we don't know. If we go straight, we arrive at the place that I did at the top, which is completely broken, so we don't know what is going to happen. It's like we must imagine. And the dress, so the stairs, and I was imagining a dress falling down on the stairs like that. I found a wedding dress. Originally I just wanted to do a dress, not a wedding dress, but I think it's going to start like a normal dress and it's going to finish as a wedding dress, because actually I didn't realize, but this song is completely related and to my past and to my own story. So it's related to my ex-marriage. It's the end of it and the beginning of something else. So I wanted to include something like that in it. Okay, and then at the bottom, you can see here, that is Brian Ferry. So Brian Ferry has nothing to do with Talk Talk or with Tomorrow Started. But every time I think of Tomorrow Started, I think of the Palace and that period in 1985, 1986. And yes, April 1985 until February, March 1986, something like that. Brian Ferry was famous also at the same period. I liked his music, but it was not the same feeling at all as Talk Talk. I was able to go to the Palace to dance on Brian Ferry, on Simple Minds, on Earth, Wind and Fire, on Grace Jones, you know, La Vie en Rose, etc. What else? There were a lot of very famous songs which were played at the Palace. And once I was out of the Palace, I was putting my Walkman on my ears and I was listening to Talk Talk. So Talk Talk was there, sometimes in the Palace, but most of the time outside of the Palace. And he was coming very often at the Palace. I saw him several times. Also the models who were in his clip videos were coming very often at the Palace too. I think I have one pictures or two of them. For me, he symbolizes the completely decadent side of that period and of the place. I'm not saying that he's decadent. I don't know this guy, so I absolutely don't want to say something bad about Brian Ferry, because I have absolutely nothing against him. It's just that in my mind, when I think Tomorrow Started, I think period when I was listening to it, period when I met my ex-husband, period when I was going to the Palace. Palace equal decadent, Palace equal Brian Ferry, Palace equal red, dark, velvet, theater, curtains, dance, wedding maybe starting, and chiefly wedding, marriage finishing. Everything started here and now everything is finishing here. You know, more I'm doing this painting and this drawing, the charcoal, and probably when I'm going to paint, more I understand the meaning of this song and the meaning for me of this painting and the meaning for me of this song, because Hollis probably meant something and maybe I understand something else, but actually his words, his lyrics are very linked to what I feel when I listen to this song. That's why it's kind of interesting. I also made, I don't know if you can see here, this is a scene, it's a copy of Pulp Fiction, you know, the scene of the dance, except that of course the actors are not the same. It's not John Travolta, it's Australian actor who looks a little like Brian Ferry. So when I saw this scene in the Gilmore Girls, it made me think of Brian Ferry, and it made me think of the palace, because the people were a lot dressed like that at that period, and also the hair falling like that on the forehead, very typical of that period. And the colors, look, a lot of red, a lot of black, exactly the painting that I want to do. And the dance, again, in this song I see a dance. It could be almost a tango, something very dramatic and spectacular, and very dramatic is really the word which comes to my mind. I didn't want to take the image of Pulp Fiction, of the film itself, because John Travolta doesn't look like Brian Ferry. But this actor, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, he looks a little like Brian Ferry. He makes me think of Brian Ferry every time I see him. So I wanted to take this scene. And then I realized that here, there is a girl dressed in a wedding dress, and she has some blood everywhere on it because it's related to the film Pulp Fiction, which is more than decadent. It's the least we can say. So I thought, wow, this has a link also with what I mean. So she's going to be on my painting too. And I think that I'm also going to make the sconces in the Beauty and the Beast, the film, the original film with Jean Cocteau, made by Jean Cocteau. The decor is very strange, and there are sconces, you know, lights coming from the walls. It's actually arms holding lamps. And at the palace then, in the 80s, I remember that there were sconces which looked, of course it was not arms, but they, every time I was seeing them, I will try to find a picture of them. If I don't know if I took pictures of them then, but every time I was seeing these sconces, I was thinking of the Beauty and the Beast. So I think that I'm going to do these lamps somewhere on my painting, because it's also related to that. So you see how much we can see in a painting and in a song. And these images, I've had them since more than 30 years ago, except for the Pulp Fiction image. Of course, the film didn't exist and the Gilmore Girl didn't exist yet, but this image is related to Brian Ferry, and Brian Ferry was existing then. I was seeing the three Maggie already. I was seeing the red, the curtain, the velvet. I was seeing someone dancing, a couple dancing, and the woman, you can only see her back because she must not look back before she tries. So I was seeing that already. I was seeing Hollis. Of course I couldn't see the place that I took picture here in Los Angeles because I didn't know this place yet. But when I was passing in front of it, every time I was singing Tomorrow started just by looking at it. So I thought, okay, this really makes me think of Tomorrow Started. I must include it in my painting. I finally choose these images of Brian Ferry. Why? When I imagine Brian Ferry, I see him dancing and everything is in the shoulders, because then it was very into wear very large shoulder jackets. So it's exactly what he has. For me, that is the symbol of the Brian Ferry image. But it's very dark. That is really the dark part of the painting. The bright part is the Marcolis one. It's the dance. It's where we are going, by going up on the stairs. The woman and the dancer that I represent like Marcolis, they are going up. It's not the wedding dress. It's not the wedding dress. Maybe the wedding is over. Maybe it's going to become something else. But there is, it makes me think now of the red, I don't know how we call that in English, le rouge et le noir de Stendhal, the red and the black by Stendhal. There is something very dramatic like that also, and it's also a crossroad, but it's a sad story. It's something ending, something starting to. Usually I don't really like the association red, black. I don't really like that usually, but really in this painting that's all what I see. Red, black, dark, a little of white, creamy white, a little of faded red, almost orange, but colors like that. I'm going to show you what I did so far. You will be kept posted about my work on this painting. This painting is really very interesting to create because it's not the same work as a portrait at all. So maybe I should do my cat a bit. About the music I listen to, so when I created my motifs, of course I had Tomorrow Started in mind, because it's the music which conveys these ideas. But when I did the charcoal, I couldn't play Tomorrow Started because it's rather sad and it's way too emotional. I really needed to focus. I needed to focus a lot on the charcoal because it's more technical, and I needed not to be too sad and too emotional because it is the technical part of the work. So I needed something more joyful, more cheerful, I would say. So I played a little of Can or nothing at all. I am really sorry that I can't play Tomorrow Started all along my work. I can do that. If you have any question about the charcoal work, please feel free to ask me below and I will answer your questions, of course. I thought that you could be interested to see what I'm doing right now on my painting. Ouais.